In this video, we're going to be looking at how to find the volume of a right regular hexagonal prism. Now this is hexagon because notice it has 6 sides on the base. So we're going to be using that same volume formula, but it's just big B is what really changes, right? Each time that you're doing volume for a lot of these prisms, it's the big B that changes because that represents the area of the base. And in this case, my base is the top and bottom of this prism, right? Which happens to be a hexagon. Now, when it comes to the height, we're always referring to the height of the prism when we find volume, right? In other words, the distance between this base and this base, the bottom and the top base. So we can actually indicate this and say, well, you know, 15 is going to be my height. And now we can go over here and say this H is going to be the height of the prism, which you can see over here is 15. Now let's go ahead and write out this formula so you can see what are you going to use for the area of the base, right? Because that's really going to be the hold up here, is what formula do we use for area of the base when we have a hexagon. And so the formula for that is actually going to be 3, so I'll put a parenthesis here for it, 3 square root of 3 divided by 2 times e to the second power. And once again, this right here is simply going to be h, our height. Now this big E here, notice I didn't write a little e because I didn't want to get it confused with a log, but I have this capital E, and that capital E stands for the edge of the base. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a note down here, move this up. So notice it says base edge. So the base edge in this case is 10 centimeters. In other words, we're talking about any one of these edges. So in this case they have the 10 right below here, right? But the 10 could have been over here or over here, but just one of these edges of the base. So I'm going to write right here that's going to be 10 centimeters, right? Our height, the distance between the two bases, is 15 centimeters, and that's where I'm getting these values for those two variables, E and H, right? We're just looking at E, the edge of the base, and H, the height of the prism. So let's substitute those values in real quick. So I'm going to rewrite this as V is equal to 3 square root of 3 over 2 times, and notice I'm going to put a parenthesis in here, and then it's going to be 10, the base's edge, and then squared, close parenthesis, and then I'm going to go ahead and for the H, I'm going to put my value of 15. Alright, so that was my value for E. Now we can put it in a calculator just like this. And when I say put it in a calculator like this, what I mean is let's take this right here that has the parentheses around it and put it in a calculator and get our answer. So I'm going to get my calculator right quick, put it over here, and I'm going to start out by putting a parenthesis first, and then I'm going to hit alpha y equals enter to get my fraction bar, and I'm going to put 3 second x squared to get my square root symbol. So 3 times square root of 3, click down to the denominator, and then put a 2, click to the right to get out of the denominator, and then parenthesis, 10, close parenthesis, squared, and then I'm going to go ahead and close parenthesis on it. Now I need to put my height in, so parenthesis, 15, close. And it just means that these are being multiplied. The parenthesis just means multiplication, and your calculator knows that. So I'm going to check it, make sure it looks exactly like what we have there, and it does, it matches. I'm going to hit enter, and notice it gives me this value here. So I'm going to write this number. So I got V is equal to 3,897.114. So we are going to round this to the tens place. And so for rounding to the tens, remember the rule, we look at the tens place and underline it, we circle the hundreds, and then if it's 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, raise the score. Now obviously 1 is less than 4, so we're going to let it rest. So our final answer is going to be V is equal to 3,897.114. and 97.1 centimeters cubed. And it's cubed because we're dealing with volume. And that's our answer. And that's how you solve these.